Tag you in the tweet as well. Yep,
I
Sean.
tweeted.
Yep, Sean with a W. That's posted, and let me make sure it's also live on Twitch as well. And the chat is right here, so I can see everything. Alrighty. What's good, people? How's everything going? We are back in the building for episode 2 this off season of the GiftedHoops podcast. And today I'm joined here by a very passionate Knicks fan. Me and Sean go way, way, way back in the NBA Twitter Spaces days. But his team has officially won a title. Gotta start off the show with that. Sean, how are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, but I'm going to feel even better in 15 seconds. Hold on.
Okay. No problem. No problem. As he comes back within 15 seconds, Sean does some good work with Knicks Film School. They are within the title of this. And in this episode, we will be discussing everything New York Knicks.
Now I'm even better.
I see the championship hat. Okay.
Yes. Got to wear the hat. Listen, I call it a hot Knicks summer. I tell people gifted, I do not leave my house without something Knicks related. Hat, T-shirt, shorts, towel. Listen, man, 53 years. It might be 53 years before the next one. So if you think I am going to be humble, these Spurs fans out here, let's just take the high road. I don't know the address to the high road.
Right.
I don't. So I'm going to take the road that I want to travel, which is to remind every single one of you people that the Knicks are world champions and there's not a goddamn thing that you can do about it. I'm not talking to you, Gifted, because Gifted, you've been in the trenches with me for the longest. Like you said, back in the day, from the Twitter Spaces days, back when Twitter was Twitter and things like that, arguing about why we shouldn't take the Atlanta Hawks seriously. And guess what, Gifted? We were right.
Yeah. Yes, we were. Oh, man.
So,
listen. This is a special episode for me because, again, like I truly have known Sean for a very long time. First off, shout out to all the good work that he does with Knicks Film School. They are in the title as well. But I knew Sean from like live from the Mecca days on Twitter. Like this was like well before I was actually producing content on YouTube on the platform. And now we're here. And yeah, man, the Knicks are championship winners. Like I can't believe that I can say that and really hold on to it. I, just like Sean, if they won, would be wearing merch all over the place. I know the environment and the atmosphere really must be crazy, but I need you to make sure you inform people like how long you have been following the team and really what this means to you, because it's not like you just began watching the team. No. You went through some years for this.
I've been a Knicks fan since 1992. I shit you not. As you can tell by some math, I'm a little bit on the older side when it comes to NBA Twitter, but I don't care. I was 11 years old. And the reason why I'm a Knicks fan, well, one, I'm from New York, and I need my camera to stop hopping around. One, I'm from New York, born and raised, and I became a Knicks fan in May of 92 because the Knicks were playing the Bulls in the playoffs in round 2. This was the Bulls on their way to their second title. And on the school bus during that series, on the school bus every morning, there was this drag out argument. There were dragged out arguments every day in the morning between the Knicks fans and the Bulls fans. Now, let me remind you, I grew up in New York, not Chicago. It was split down the middle. And I said to myself, how are these people rooting for the Bulls? They should be rooting for the home team. And I made my decision, and there you go.
Man, I think it's crazy because, again, Sean said he's been a fan since 1992. I was born in 99. So there is a literal, like, massive canyon gap between him being a fan and me just being alive and then watching the sport on top of that. So I give a lot of respect to it. Again, like, I don't like to do this thing where like we just act like things don't matter. I feel like we live in such a microwave TikTok era where it's like people just want instant satisfaction, but it's like the notion of a team that you follow for this long actually getting serious. Like there was a time where like the Knicks were the laughing stock of the NBA, at least for me. And they went from that to like a legitimate ball club. And it's not just the finals, but like you're legitimately one of the best playoff teams of all time in terms of how dominant you were. And especially after the first round series you had versus the Hawks, which, we'll get to all that stuff. That just has to feel great. Has to feel great.
Dude, there are, I have friends of mine, colleagues of mine at Knicks Film School that said they never thought they'd see this day. I always thought I would see this day, but I had come to peace with the possibility that it may not happen. And I didn't really I came to that peace in 2019. So I'll tell a quick story. My favorite soccer team in England is Tottenham Hotspur. You're right over there. My uncle, so I'm a Tottenham fan because I have family that live in Tottenham. My uncle moved from Jamaica to North London in the 60s, married, raised a family, what have you. My uncle passed away in 2019. Went to his funeral, and then at the cemetery, whatever, after the service was over, I was walking out, and then there was like a big, flowers and stuff like that, whatever. And it was in blue and lily white, which are Tottenham's colors. And it was someone who had passed away. And now I'll say this really quickly. I tell people, there's a lot of people like to draw comparisons to the Knicks and Arsenal because Arsenal won a title. There's a lot of Knicks fans and Arsenal fans. And I tell those people all the time, the Knicks are more like Tottenham than Arsenal because Tottenham have not won the league title since 1961. So I saw this gentleman pass, yes, 1961. Now I saw this flower arrangement for the gentleman who had passed away, and that was the first time I realized like this. I don't remember how old he was. I think I actually took a picture of it, but I was like, this gentleman either was a child when Tottenham won the league, or he never saw Tottenham win the league. And we had just lost the Champions League final a month earlier. And that was the day it was July 4th, 2019, because my uncle's funeral was July 4th.
Right.
And that was the day where I realized, you know what? It's possible that this may never happen. You may never see this. Because I've seen all my other teams win the championship. Even Tottenham, they didn't win the league, but in 2025 they won the Europa League, which is a major European trophy, which was their first major European trophy in 41 years. But listen,
right.
I say it all the time. There are New Yorkers who have been born, lived, and died and never saw the Knicks win the title. My good friend Kevin Cronin, God rest his soul, he was born in 1984, so he passed away in 2023. He would have loved to have seen it. He would have loved to have seen it. Shout out to E. E is one of the biggest Knicks fans in our community, or Knicks Twitter community. We lost E last year. And she filmed the video before she passed away. She's like, literally on her deathbed, she's like, can the Knicks win the goddamn title, please? Please.
It's real. Yeah.
Oh, me wearing this hat, and I talk about 53 years and 53 more. There are people in 1973 that was like, all right, we'll be back. And 53 years later, so here we are.
Yeah, nah, man, and I'm happy because like these things in sports are really powerful because it brings a lot of people, I would say, together. But man, like the fashion in which it happened couldn't have felt sweeter. I think there's a lot of things that went into the chip before this. So again, I love to like timeline the way that the team was built, all this, and I feel like the genesis of this starts before Jalen Brunson. In my opinion, it begins with relevancy being brought to the Knicks first. And to me, you have to go back to Tom Thibodeau and also the Julius Randle era, in my opinion. You've seen many different eras of like the Knicks. What would you say was the beginning of this team forming into that actual championship culture?
So I like to say I've called this the Knickerbocker Revolution.
Okay.
And the Knickerbocker Revolution began March 3rd, 2020, because that was the day Leon Rose was announced as president of basketball operations of the New York Knicks. None of this, because we've had we've had team presidents, general managers, executives. None of them have been able to have the sustained success that Leon Rose has been able to do, been able to maintain since the 90s. I just did a podcast the other day with Jonathan Macri and for Knicks Film Schools, myself, Jonathan Macri, my man Kev
Mhm.
Words, and DJ Zulo. And it was it was a draft, and we are drafting the demons that were exercised by the Knicks winning the championship. And the last pick I had was what day was it? Yes, September 25th, 2000, which is the day the Knicks traded Patrick Ewing. And I refer to that day as the day the music died because all the bullshit that you have seen this franchise endure,
Mhm.
self-inflicted, this century draws back to the day they traded Patrick Ewing. So from then, September 25th, 2000, until March 3rd, 2020, it is there's blips. There's one blip. There's the 2013 season when they win 54 games. Carmelo Anthony, Tyson Chandler, they win 54 games. They're the 2 seed in the playoffs. They lose to the Pacers. Other than that,
Yeah.
nothing. So, and we had solid GMs. We had Glenn Grunwald. We had Donnie Walsh. We had actually that's really the two best. Is there another guy? No, then we had those we had two guys. But Leon Rose taking over and that actually gave me hope because Leon didn't need the job. He was fine. For those who don't know, Leon Rose is the head of the basketball division of CAA. He's an agent. He doesn't need the job. It's not like he's a dude that was a video coordinator and worked his way up in the front office and he's like, oh, so because he didn't need the job, he could say like, all right, I'll take the job, but here are the things that I want to do, and here's how we have to go about things. Because if James Dolan says no, all right, well, I don't need this job. I'm chilling. You came to me.
Right.
So that's the day. Everything starts from there. And yes, you got to give, I'm sure we'll dive into, you got to give respect to Tom Thibodeau. You got to give respect to Julius Randle, who I think, I will always give him his flowers, and I'll always tell people that, like, hey, look, if 2021 doesn't happen, maybe we're not here. You want to talk about empty gyms and all that? I don't care. If that doesn't happen, maybe we're not here. So that, to me, is when it started. And I have to – the Knickerbocker Revolution began March 3rd, 2020, when Leon Rose took the job.
Yeah, man. I have to say, like, I truly feel like the way the Knicks were even viewed after Leon Rose, for me at least, it's completely different. I was watching them back when I think Derrick Rose averaged 16, 6, and 5 in the triangle offense, right? Like that's what this team was doing at a point. And when Leon Rose got there, like the energy shifted. They felt like a more serious team. They made a whole lot of moves. And then, like, I think for all that to culminate in the Jalen Brunson acquisition is one thing, but the Julius Randle trade for Karl Anthony Towns really signified, like, oh, they're really trying to go for it, because you had been in talks to trade for some type of star for like a long time before this, and you kind of got laughed at every time, like, oh, they're trying to get Kyrie Irving and KD and Zion, all this and all that. But regardless of that, you had to turn the image of the team around first, and Leon Rose absolutely did that. He deserves many flowers for that. Because again, like, the moves that all you guys did to shift into that starts with that. And then obviously getting Brunson at the right time. The timing of the Knicks was really, really big.
Yeah, I thought I had a water bottle here, but I don't. Whatever. I thought I had it here. But, before Jalen Brunson, I would say, because interestingly enough, Julius Randle was not acquired by Leon Rose. He was acquired by Steve Mills, the previous GM. But him hiring Tom Thibodeau, which, listen, at the time I wasn't a big fan of it because we all know how Tom Thibodeau's tenures went in Chicago and went in Minnesota. We all know what his reputation was, what have you. But he established a baseline level of competency, a culture that carried that team to 41-31, which over an 82 game season, that would have been about 47 wins. And if the Knicks finish 34-38 or 30, and listen, they were picked to be last in the East. They were picked to, their over under was 21 and a half games, which is no good.
Yeah.
The fact that they were able to, with Julius Randle and RJ Barrett and Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton and a Mitchell Robinson and a Nerlens Noel and a traded for Derrick Rose, that's what got the ball rolling. That's what made it seem like, okay. And to your point, changing the culture, establishing a culture of, all right, we're not doing things the same old way now. Like you brought up trying to trade for stars, trying to acquire stars. The day I started Knicks Film School was the day of the Donovan Mitchell trade to Cleveland. And that is every championship team needs luck along the way. Every single one. Everyone wants to think that their team wasn't lucky. No.
Every team.
Your team had some luck.
Yeah.
And I shudder to think where the Knicks would be if Leon Rose did not decide, you know what? Danny Ainge, I'm not giving you 3 unprotected first. You can have 2. And Danny Ainge was like, fine, I'll get it somewhere else. And here we are. So that initial season, that 2021 season, that starts everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that whole beginning of that was one thing. But again, like, I got to say this, like, I forget what the sentiment was. Actually, no, I don't. I remember exactly what it was. When Jalen Brunson became a name for the Mavericks, which what people have to really keep in mind, this started because Dallas did not want to pay Jalen Brunson initially. Then he outplayed what his current standing was. They tried to sign him to the same deal they said no to. Then he says no. And him going to the Knicks, I will say this, it doesn't happen without the ties in the organization to Jalen Brunson, but also the cap to be where it was, I think, for the Knicks. Also, I'm sorry, but like, he was a complete steal of a player. Like I was saying, is he not going to be like the best contract in the league at the time? And he showed out for y'all. Like I can't think of the last time the Knicks had a signing at point guard like that like shifted because he was right away a star immediately for the Knicks. Immediately. And I feel like you needed something else like that to bring a real sense of like, okay, no, this is a new era we are going towards, honestly.
So I'll say 2 things. One, the irony of the Kristaps Porzingis trade coming full circle, because we traded them Kristaps Porzingis and got clowned for it.
You did get clowned for that. Yes, you did. I remember that.
But ironically, that trade gave us the cap space to sign Julius Randle and to gave us the cap space to sign Julius Randle and Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris showed out. We're able to flip him to the Clippers for the pick that became Emmanuel Quickly, who then gets packaged in a deal with RJ Barrett to get OG Anunoby. But in terms of the Brunson deal, so he wasn't really on my radar, but I remember it wasn't really on my radar that we could acquire him until that playoff series against Utah, where Luka missed the first 2 or 3 games and then he's balling, right? And then you start hearing the whispers and the reports and the rumors and what have you. And I remember when they signed they signed the deal, which was 4 years, $104 million, because I believe it came out to like $27 million a year. And Gifted, if I had to tell you the amount of Knicks fans I had to talk off the ledge about that deal. Like, I knew one guy, I'm going to give him a shout out because shout out to my guy State. State was losing it on Spaces, talking about how we gave $100 million to a non-all-star. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, dog, the cap is not the same as it used to be. Like, you can't look at like $100 million in 2023 is not the same as $100 million in 2010 when Amari signed and when that was like a max you could sign for. And so we all have seen the videos, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Nick Wrights, the Michael Wilbons, the CBS Sports.
Yep.
We've seen them all, but he like King of New York is not even a moniker worthy of him, because you asked about when was the last time the Knicks signed a point guard that had that impact. Dog, it's Rod Strickland. It's Rod
Yeah.
Strickland or Mark Jackson. You think I'm joking?
Not yet.
It's probably Mark Jackson, because after Rod Strickland is Mark Jackson. Because after that, the best point. Listen, Derek Harper is one of my favorite Knicks of all time. I have his jersey. He would have been Finals MVP in '94 if they had won. They traded for him, but other than that, like, dog, go back and look at the point guards that Knicks have trotted out in my basketball watching life, which started in 1992. I mean, listen, Charlie Ward got us to the finals. God bless him. Chris Childs, Chris Duhon, Shandon Anderson. Jalen Brunson has already catapulted himself into talks with Walt Frazier for like GOAT Knicks point guard, like, which is a testament to how sad this organization has been historically when it comes to the point guard position. Like,
Ooh.
There's a the Mount Rushmore of Knicks basketball has Jalen Brunson on it, and the Knicks have been playing basketball for 80 seasons, and he's on there with one title.
Yeah. Undoubtedly. And like, we'll get to like exactly why that is, because I would say, independent of just this year, like his play for the Knicks, both not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs especially. I mean, he just had so many moments that have really put this team over the edge. But again, as you said, like, the beauty in this championship is this wasn't a solo carry thing. Like, this was the definition of a team effort all the way through. And after Brunson, like, there's other names we can get to. Of course, I want to get to the big cat, but OG Anunoby, like, I have to speak up on that, because at the time I was saying OG Anunoby is a special defender. It's different, but like, is he gonna really develop into like a star? Like, I'm not really sure. And even now, people are probably so uncomfortable to say he's a star, but legitimately, the way OG Anunoby developed himself into a dead-eye shooter, into like a Swiss Army knife guy who still has the positive defensive qualities. Like, he was always just a quality player. The question was, can he stay healthy enough to show that? And listen, you signed him to big money. I was there when that contract got done. A lot of people thought it was a bad overpay for the Knicks. And that was another gamble that proved right for the Knicks again. Crazy.
So if the Knickerbocker Revolution starts March, and by the way, it's March 2nd, 2020, not March 3rd. My apologies.
Okay. Word.
The Knickerbocker Revolution, whatever, you can keep it in there. If the Knickerbocker Revolution started March 2nd, 2020, then December 30th, 2023 was a turning point in the war. Because that was the day we acquired OG. And then in this community, we speak very fondly of the January 2024 Knicks. I think they went 14-2 that month. And that is when title aspirations started dancing in a lot of our heads. And mine too. I was like, you know what? Now we might be like, not that we're favorites or contenders, but at the time, it was, all right, you know what? If we see Boston, maybe we could beat Boston in the conference final. And because, to your point, OG, dead-eye shooter, especially from the corners, lethal from the corners, one of the best defenders in the league, bar none, hands down. Like,
absolutely.
It's funny, the people that clowned the Knicks for that signing, calling it overpay, well, some people will just call anything the Knicks do wrong and bad and then overpay, right? But I told people all the time, like, 20 other teams would have given him that contract, because we can't talk about how pace and space and 3-and-D wings are the craze, and it's like, well, he's like S tier 3-and-D wing. Who can create his own shot a little bit, which has gotten better because there are times where OG will dribble the ball more than twice and lose the dribble off his foot, whatever. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
but even now he has now become easily the third best player on the team. I think we just did a ranking of the top 26 Knicks of the last 26 years, and I have him number 2.
Oh,
I have him number 2.
I like it.
Because I'm not saying that he's a better player than Karl Anthony Towns, but I'm not even saying that we could have won a title without Karl Anthony Towns. But we absolutely could not have won the title of OG without OG Anunoby. Like when OG got hurt in Game 2 against Philly, all of Knicks Nation was like, "Please be okay, please be okay, please."
A lot of people got nervous. Yeah, same. Yeah. Yep, same here.
So, like, listen, if OG doesn't get hurt against the Pacers in 2024, I think they beat the Pacers. But it is what it is. Water under the bridge. But yeah, OG is I realized that I did not own a jersey of a current Knick on the roster in 2024. I would have got his.
I like that.
And I actually bought another one with the Fonz patch on it, which should be coming here any day now. But yeah, OG is my guy. Like you can't. That dude is priceless, dude. Like he's priceless. I can't even describe it.
Yeah, no, I have been a big fan of his again, and like I don't want to undersell his goal as a player because again, to Chris's point in chat right here, OG Anunoby specifically when he joined the Knicks was not a dead-eye shooter, but the development that he took place just in a Knicks uniform has been a joy to watch, and again, defensively just being all over the place. Like I would say in the playoff run, like. You can make a real argument that he was the second most impactful player. And before the finals, arguably the most consistent. Like, he was shooting a ridiculous scorching hot percentage from the field. I think he had like a 64 overall shooting. I had it, I believe, written down here somewhere. Let me go back to it real quick. But he specifically powered this team through so many other angles. And again, we're gonna always go back to the OG tip in, which was insane. I mean, like that's like a Hall of Fame NBA moment almost, right? Like I can already see it in my head right now. Like at the buzzer, basically, Sean. Like in the Garden, by the way. Like I'm sorry. Where does that rank for you? You know what I'm saying? Like in the Garden?
That is okay. That is the greatest moment of my basketball. First of all, that is arguably the biggest offensive rebound in NBA history. It is one of the when they do the montage for the finals for the next
it will be there.
100 years, it's going to be there.
That play will be there. Yes.
If they build a statue of OG Anunoby, that's the statue.
Yes.
Like if it was a tight game and that happened, it would have gone down in history. But for that to cap off unequivocally the greatest comeback in the 80-year history of the National Basketball Association. Understand me on this. No, not the finals. No. In the history.
Yeah.
Do that in the finals.
In the final, right, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yep.
Like, dude, coming back from 29 down doesn't happen in January. in June at Madison Square Garden, which basically, for all intents and purposes, ended the series because only one team has ever come back from 3-1, and the Spurs didn't have LeBron James, and OG Anunoby didn't get suspended for Game 5. I'm sorry to bring it up. It's too soon. I'm sorry, Gifted. I don't want to. I don't want to bring it up. But
I ain't mad at you. Just go.
But yeah, it's the greatest. And for me, when I talk about great moments in NBA history of my lifetime, of all the teams I root for, I think that like I always said, like the greatest accomplishment I ever had is Syracuse winning the national championship, my alma mater, while I was there. Like it
Right.
was like in terms of like greatest games, but like I have like I don't know if y'all can see, but like right there is a picture of it's a poster of the Mile High Miracle. That's the Joe Flacco and thing. Like that
Oh,
was
okay.
that was like number one until like this goes above it because even when and for those who are watching, you need to go to Knicks Film School on YouTube because we did a live watch along that day. Myself, Jonathan Macker, Andrew Claudio. So you see our reaction in real time. When Jalen takes a shot, part of me's like, please, it's like, please go in, please go in, please go in. At no point did I think that OG, like I never even saw OG. I just I last minute I just see his hand and the ball goes in, and I literally go like this.
Yeah.
Because again, 29 points. That shot, that's the greatest, that's arguably the greatest shot in Knicks history. And it is one of the greatest shots in NBA history. And it was, and even if you go back, you watch that video, OG is wide open at the top of the key, but then he knows to just cut to the basket.
And just go.
And I believe that maybe 2 years ago, he doesn't do it. Maybe last year he doesn't do it. But, you know, like I'll land a plane here. We know like the Knicks had their struggles. You know, they had a 2-9 stretch. They got their ass kicked at home by the Mavericks on MLK Day, and everyone was like, "This team is fake and garbage, whatever, yada yada." And then they had players only meeting and whatever. And at the beginning of the playoffs, I was going to tweet this, but I got sidetracked and I didn't. I was going to tweet, "Don't be assholes, play for each other," because the Achilles heel of the Knicks was sometimes they will not play for each other. And I said, if this team just plays for each other, no one can beat them. Just play for each other. And it looks like they finally figured it out. And again, like OG could have very easily just stood at the top of the key and watched him take that shot. And now Cat is down there. Maybe Cat gets the rebound. Cat says if OG missed the tip in, he would have got the putback. Which that like if OG missed the tip in and Cat gets the putback,
that would be even crazy.
No time left.
Yeah. Walk. Yeah. That's a walk off at that point.
A walk off dunk.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just speaks to the testament of the team and how they all bought into each other.
Yeah, and I actually have the OG number. So like I also watched this game live, Sean. And it's like seeing what OG did in both home games of the series is one thing. But again, this is what OG Anunoby did for the entire run, by the way. He had an effective field goal percentage of 67.2%. That is the highest mark of a player with at least 150 field goal attempts in NBA history. He was 44 for 90 from three, the fourth best for a player with 75 attempts in a single postseason run. So not only was he like lights out, but again, we're not even speaking to the defense. He got injured, came back in the finals, and like, I swear to you, after game of, I think that was 4, right? Yeah. After game 4, I'm like, if OG has like a strong performance in game 5, he can maybe be Finals MVP. Like how we're speaking about the player at the time was bonkers. And again, to your point, this is a team win because a unsung name that I love to gush about because I always liked this player, but the Knicks not being too high on their success in their team, making a last pitch for another player and getting Jose Alvarado at deadline, who was relatively quiet for the most part, but when it mattered the most in the game 4, his 8 points in the fourth quarter, like even that, like how you swing the margins dictates who the victors are in the finals on the biggest of stages. And even Jose played a big part in that too.
Hey, we talked about Tom Thibodeau earlier. Tom Thibodeau would not have played Jose Alvarado down the stretch of that game. He would not have.
No.
He would not have. And Jose Alvarado had more points I believe he had more points in the fourth quarter than Wemby did in like the second half. Something crazy like that. Like he outscored Wemby in the fourth quarter. Um, that three he hit, that little half spin layup he got, but just
Humongous.
the secondary ball handler that was needed down the stretch. Which, if you remember, if you go back to the NBA Cup final, Jalen Brunson commit because they're picking up a full court, and he commits a backcourt violation, and immediately Mike Brown goes and calls for Tyler Kolek to come in the game to
Yep.
be a secondary ball handler to relieve pressure, and that's when I was like, okay, this might be different because I'm sorry, the old head coach would have just said, all right, Jalen, just try it again, and would just let him just
I
get. He
promise
wouldn't
you,
have done it.
Tom is not playing Tyler Kolek. I can put
He's
money
not.
on
Well,
that.
no, he's not playing. But he's not playing Jose Alvarado either. And I
Right.
know he's not playing Jose Alvarado because he waited until the Knicks were down 2-0 in a double-digit hole in Game 3 against Indiana before he played Landry Shamet. And we don't win a championship without Landry Shamet.
He was lights out the whole playoff
Yeah.
run. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
Jose Alvarado, listen, again, back to Leon Rose, realizing that we needed a secondary ball handler. We thought Tyler Kolek was making strides, but Tyler has to not turn the ball over, and he has to be a better three-point shooter. He cannot be a point guard and shoot below league average from three, and especially turn the ball over, unless you're. There's not room like that for you in the league anymore. Like, you could be the best defender. Like, you'd have to be Fred VanVleet, and Fred VanVleet is miles ahead of Tyler Kolek on defense. So the Knicks realizing this, bringing in Jose Alvarado, who literally had one really good game against Philly and then was like, for the rest of the regular season. There are times he was out of the rotation and then in back in rotation, but he stayed ready, which is a testament to Mike Brown because there were so many of these guys who were out the rotation, in the rotation, and they never let it get down because they knew they may have been out, but you weren't out forever. Same thing for
Right.
Jordan Clarkson. It was just like, just be ready, and he was ready.
It does something for you when you know mentally, like, I might not be playing now, but I can be given a opportunity. I'm not going to just be on the bench and not be put in any space to really help this team win. Because it's so easy to say that shouldn't matter, you're a pro, be ready. But it's like mentally, it's hard knowing you're going to games knowing you're not going to play that night for like multiple months. You're in the playoffs and you're still not playing. And then all of a sudden, I'm playing now. Like it's hard to be consistently ready to play impact winning basketball. That's not easy. And again, we say give respect to, I would say, Leon Rose. Something else we got to speak to is for them to have the guts after making a conference finals to get rid of Tom Thibodeau, to go to Mike Brown, who made those choices that we're talking about, in itself is one thing. Because I remember the offseason talk like, oh, they fired their coach when it was really extra wide players getting hurt or not playing, all this stuff. And they like still said, we are trying to win. We're going to make this push. And again, it's another gamble on paper at the very least that did pay off, because I feel like during the regular season, this team was kind of up and down and like trying to get used to the new coach. Cat was a big player who like had an impacted role. He wasn't really sure, I think, as much of himself. But I saw in this team, and again, I didn't tell you this during the run. I told you this after the fact. But watching the Atlanta series was so pivotal for me because I feel like in real time you saw the buy-in from the team after they lost those games, and like seeing Cat just wake up and realize I can be the hub. I can be exactly what this team traded for me to be. And it's funny, guys, because guess what? Me and Sean used to have debates all the time before Cat was on his team about Cat. And
Yes.
Sean wasn't really a Cat guy.
Nope, I was not. I was not. There's a video of me out there somewhere where I said, I don't want Karl Anthony Towns within a 50-mile radius of Madison Square Garden.
Yes, it is.
It's out there somewhere. But it's funny. Deuce McBride was on with Jonathan Macri at Fanatics Fest, and they asked him like, what happened? Like, what happened after Game 3 versus Atlanta? And he said basically they decided it was winning time. And the way I interpret that is that like all the things that they had worked on over the season, all throughout the regular season, all the things they had tried out, it was like, okay, now it's time to implement this. It is time to do what we need to do. Like Mike Brown spent the entire regular season experimenting, playing different lineups, putting in different guys. Like game night one, I think he played 11 guys. He might have played 12. He played at least 11. Mixing and matching, experimenting. Because the regular season, which is something unfortunately Tom Thibodeau never embraced, the regular season is for data collection.
Right.
It's for you to figure out who can I trust down the stretch when the games matter. And going to the playoffs, he knew the guys that mattered. And he knew what buttons he could push and what buttons he couldn't push. Whereas Tom Thibodeau just wanted to just do the same thing over and over again. Because to be fair, and I'll give him some grace. Like he believed in like repetition. Like, it's like Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours. Like if you keep doing the same things over and over again, you'll get better at it, which he's right. However, when you run into a team that is better, like that has you figured out, now what?
Right.
And the frustrating thing about Tibbs is that like Tibbs has all the answers. Like it's not like Tibbs doesn't know what to do or doesn't know how to pivot, but he's so stubborn and stuck in his ways. I used to say all the time, Tibbs, you can't just back Tibbs into a corner. You have to back him to the corner with a gun to his head and a hand around his throat before he will deviate from what he thinks works.
Because he's not going.
He did. Yeah, which is what he did in game 3 against Indiana. But it's like, but now you're throwing out Landry Shamet and what's the dude's name? DeLon Wright. And you're throwing out these lineups that never played a minute in the regular season. Now, Mike Brown did it a few times in the playoffs, and we're like, yo, Mike, what are you doing? But
he did.
Mike also had he was willing to try something at any time instead of just waiting until, oh my God, this is
it's do or die time now.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Like all of those things all go into it. But again, like it really does feel crazy because again, like I remember watching the Hawks play you guys in the first round. And like I remember, okay, Brunson not having a great night. Cat looks a little bit off. OG is just killing. I got nothing to say about OG. And then it's like, once that shift happened, Cat just said, oh, wait, I forgot. I'm Karl Anthony Towns. I'm just going to dice you up. No one can guard me. I am the mismatch in this series. And then you blow out the Hawks by like damn near 60-something points. That was a wild game to watch. I watched every minute of that game, by the way. And it's like, after that point, it was just straight up New York belt to ass for the rest of the thing. And I hear like it was so much cope. Like, oh, if the Sixers don't beat Boston and Boston matched up with the Knicks, they probably beat. No, the Knicks team that I saw where you have Landry Shamet shooting 82% from 3 in a series, that team just had it to me, man. Like you can see the difference, honestly. You really could.
Bro, I'm going to tell you this right now. Anyone who thinks that Boston had a chance against us, you either paid, you're a bot, or that person does not mean well for you.
Talk that talk, Sean.
Bro,
yeah.
Okay, first of all, let's take 2 minutes to talk about
I'm with it.
The PR machine that the Boston Celtics have. It is insane. I watched all season people tell me this is a championship contender. And I'm like, on what planet? Like, I'm going to believe in Nehemiah Queta and Baylor Scheinman and Derek White, who could just missed another 3 because he was terrible from 3 all year.
It was tough.
And then they bring back Jason Tatum, and Jason Tatum is shooting his effective field goal percentage is like 47%.
He was playmaking, chill. He's playmaking, Sean. Yeah. Yes.
And people are like, they just pencil this team into the finals. And I just kept asking people, wait a minute. The Knicks, last year's Celtics team is better than this year's Celtics team. And this year's Knicks team is better than the team that beat them last year. Like, they're not beating us. Like, and of course, by the time I'm watching Game 7, and which I missed the first half, they got the second half. I'm like, are they gonna blow this? I was like, man. And of course, oh, wait a minute, Jason Tatum. Who would have thought that a guy coming back from an Achilles tear after 10 months and playing crazy minutes, that would have come back to bite them in the ass? But I think they secretly knew that they needed him to win the championship, but they were never going to have Jason Tatum 100% because, again, he tore his freaking Achilles.
Yeah. It's honestly a miracle he even played on that.
11 months ago. Yeah. But it was, as someone who tore his Achilles 12 years ago, a long time ago, I know what the rehab is like, and I'm like, yo, you can't, like, nah. Anyway, fuck Boston. So, with that said, anyone who's trying to say, like, oh, Boston, you got lucky because of Boston would have called belt too. And anyone who wants to say, oh, because we avoided Detroit, well, Detroit, you lost a Game 7 at home to James Harden. So you can't chat to me.
Sean.
They would have, what?
Detroit was nice, though.
They would have no. Here's what Detroit was. You know what they were?
What's up?
Detroit, as a wise man who wears number 23 for your favorite basketball team, said, there are 82 game players and there are 16 game players. And that team,
I know where you're going.
One 16 game player.
Whoa. Respect Asar Thompson, one of the best wing defenders you've ever seen.
The guy that makes you play 4-on-5 offensively? That guy?
He had 16 blocks and 60 steals in the series, bro. Respect it.
Basketball, brother, he is
awful on offense.
Tony Allen.
Fair.
You cannot win a title playing 4-on-5 offensively in today's
I can
NBA.
agree. Yeah.
So again, they got one guy who's a 16-game player. And I'm the one that said that guy, Cade Cunningham, should have been the MVP of the league. I said that. Because that team was full of a bunch of tryhards. And when you try hard every single night in the regular season, you're going to get wins. You're going to get a lot of wins because we know how this league is. Dudes on a back-to-back third game of 4 nights and not taking things seriously. Oh, they went to Miami the night before and, da-da-da.
And then belt, yeah.
Yeah, but
it happens.
That team, I said it all year. I said that team cannot win 2 playoff series playing this way. They can't. And what a surprise. In Game 7, they got their ass kicked at home by Cleveland.
All right, so I'm going to break the ice. First off, big shout-outs to Derek and Chaff with the Boston slander. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about the Sixers a bit later into the episode. But I was in the building for that Game 7, just like I was in the building for
that's right. You were there. That's right.
I'm a Detroiter, so like I actually went there, and seeing Jared Allen just put belt upon the bigs, seeing Jalen Duren just have a completely remarkable no-show of a playoffs was brutal. And I'm not gonna hold you, like, yes, Tobias Harris played bad, but I will say Tobias was their second option for most of the playoffs. I will put no smut on his name. He stepped up. And listen, Sean, like, you right, but to keep it a band, like, they went 7 twice. They could have made it third round. But to be fair, because I also am on record saying this, I also said if the Knicks play them, the Knicks would win, in my opinion. I did like the matchup. I did like the defensive pressure they could put up compared to other teams in the league, specifically in the Knicks matchup. But I felt like the offensive mismatch would have been too much. So fairs. My point in all of this, though, is to say, regardless of that, I don't think it's fair to take away from the Knicks run, considering just how much better they were than other teams during their run. Like, it's not like they nearly got past the third round or second round. It was built consistently. I'm sorry. What y'all did to Cleveland in Game 1, and I'm going to look dead at camera when I say this shit because I'm passionate about this. Seeing what a head coach in the NBA did in that fourth quarter, where you're just a lot, and I know it's easy to shit all over James Harden, Sean. I get it. I understand. We gonna cool. I'm with all of that. But to watch a head coach sit there and see the same thing happen over and over with no adjustment kind of remind me a little bit of your old head coach. Just seeing it happen over and over and over and over and over. And there's no help. It's just Jalen Brunson, James Harden on the island. We're just going to take all these baskets, all these buckets, and then to go to overtime and lose that game. I said they might get swept. And quite literally, what happened after that was a playoff series that was belt to ass. Sean, it got so bad. I'm going to give you a fun fact on my channel because I stream pretty much every playoff game, right? On my channel, I literally said, I know game 4 is going to be belt to ass. So I'm going to give y'all a choice. We can either stream the game or I can play Resident Evil because I'm a gamer. So I said, right? So I put a poll. And guess what I did, Sean? I put a belt image to represent Knicks versus Cavs game 4 and I'm Resident Evil. And Resident Evil won the poll. Right? So I'm on the game. I got the game pulled up on the side. And Lord and behold, it's built to ass in game 4 as well. Like you guys severely dominated all of your competition en route to the finals. So like regardless of what people want to say, you were the best Eastern Conference team by a landslide in the playoffs. And I think the Knicks deserve that respect.
I talked about the 20 years of bullshit that commenced from the day they traded Patrick Ewing. The Knicks' one of their biggest mistakes was being bad during the rise of social media.
Yep.
Because I'm an old school Twitter dude. Like I'm class of 09. I got on Twitter in 09. That's when Twitter really blew up. And that's when NBA Twitter became a thing. So guess what? If you're 21 years old in 2009, which means that was 17 years ago, which means you're 38 years old now, you just saw the Knicks be bad most of your life.
Yeah,
and you've
absolutely
seen the jokes and the clowning and whatever. Again, the Knicks brought on themselves. So now there is a large segment of the NBA population, of the NBA Twitter population, of the NBA universe that will never give the Knicks the credit they deserve because they cannot wrap their minds around the Knicks being good. And to those people, and most of them are young, some of them are old, some of them are old fools. Like I know a guy from the Bronx will not root for the Knicks and will root against the Knicks all the time. Like he can't wrap his mind around it. But to the younger people, I will tell you guys this. Never is a word that should not exist in sports. Do not say this team will never win. I'm old enough to remember when the New England Patriots were the laughingstock of the NFL. They won 6 Super Bowls and they played in the Super Bowl last year, right? Gifted, what I tell you all the time. I remember when the Warriors were the Knicks. Yeah. I remember when the Warriors were the Knicks. And look where we are.
That's real.
Right? Now, I'm not saying the Knicks are going to win. I'm saying the Warriors. Listen, when I started watching basketball in the 90s, the Warriors were not a thing. That Run TMC shit ended like 93. They were not a thing. 2000, and they had their one little moment. We believe. Game 6 at Oracle, right?
Yeah.
I remember when the Warriors were like the Knicks were good and Warriors nowhere to be found. So for anytime people say never, it goes both ways. Gifted. If you told 17-year-old Sean for W in 1998 that the Chicago Bulls were going to be in a morass of bullshit for damn near 30 years,
it's going to be bad for that point. Yeah. Right. For sure on that.
Anything can happen both ways. And I'm telling you people, the Knicks are like, if you still are a quote-unquote Knicks hater after they won a championship, there's no hope for you, and I don't want to talk to you. But if you want to talk basketball, let's talk basketball, and we can talk about why this team is different, you know? So.
Yeah, no, I think the basketball part of it, if we're getting into, like, the specifics, right? Like, I think what the Knicks did very, very well is, despite having... Oh, I think this has to be the biggest thing, though. Like, Cat gets a lot of shit for a lot of things that aren't basketball. I think he did a lot of dumb fouls in his career. I will say this. I just think he became a wiser basketball player. Still had some moments of like bad fouls here or there, but like for the playoff run, the biggest thing that stands out to me at least, Cat became a much better defender this season. And I think when you look at the ways in which it feels hard now to have two black holes defensively on a roster, Cat and Brunson are like the obvious things you point to, but the difference was Cat was just a much better defender, but at the same time, I think they used him more as a hub to help out Jalen Brunson. Like specifically, I said this last year, by the way, too, right? Like by the numbers at least, with Cat on the floor and Brunson off, or vice versa, the team actually played pretty good. Like in the Pacers series specifically, when Brunson was there on the bench and you had Cat was making things happen offensively. So Mike Brown empowering that, specifically after they were struggling with the Hawks, that is when things really took off. Because now you have two guys that can be offensive points to really help control the pace and tempo of the team. But more importantly, the shot quality the Knicks consistently generated from three came from those two guys a lot of the time. And that is what swings you playoff games. That is what wins you playoff games. But more importantly, that is how you dominate teams, when you're getting a high volume of threes, but they're quality good shots. And I don't feel like the Knicks play trying to get threes. I feel like they play with pace and force good shots with ball movement. I mean, dude, I am doing a series on my channel, Sean, right, where I'm going to go back and watch these playoff games from beginning to end from all year last year. But what I specifically remember is, especially in the finals, the way they were able to overcome the Spurs is they wanted to have Wemby in the box in the middle, basically. And they were just not respecting Knicks people. They were leaving a bunch of guys wide open. But what you specifically did to beat it was you just zipped the ball over and over and over. And at times, it was impressive seeing how Wemby would still recover when he shouldn't have been tasked with like moving like that. But at the end of the day, an old saying is, as fast as you can be, the ball moves faster. And that's what the Knicks did the entire playoff run. And to me, that is why the numbers look so staggering when you look into the advanced analytics in terms of what the Knicks were doing this playoff run, why they had such a crushing margin of overall dominance and victory, you know?
No, absolutely. There's a play, I think in game 2, where they just have the Spurs in the blender. And to your point, Wemby is able to recover better than anybody because he's 7'5". But we've all spoken about Wemby's conditioning. Like you keep putting him in the blender like that, after he's gonna wear down.
Yeah.
In terms of, so it's funny you bring up Cat. It's interesting because the finals was a very physical series on both teams. Both
physical.
Everyone was allowed to be physical except for Karl Anthony Towns. He wasn't allowed to be physical because anytime he did anything, first 3 minutes of the game, it was out of here. And listen, I can get into my conspiracy theories about like it was easy to decide to be harsh on call when it comes to fouls because of the reputation that preceded him. But you talked about Karl's defense. People thought he's just started playing defense in the playoffs. Like,
no,
he started in the regular season. Like, I could tell the national writers who would follow the Knicks all year and the ones who didn't, because they go in there saying like, I don't know if the Knicks can win because they have two black holes on defense. They have, you can't be bad at pointing, tagging at the rim. And I'm like, the Knicks have been a top 6 defense for months. In fact, I just pulled up Cleaning the Glass just to make sure I have this right.
Aha, okay.
Since January 20th in the regular season to the end of the regular season, which was the day after the MLK meltdown when they got their ass whipped by the Mavs, the Knicks were 6th in offense and 5th in defense. So for 4 months, February, March, April, for 3 months, they were a contender hiding in plain sight. Because how many times do we hear like, oh, well, these are contenders because they're top 10 in offense, they're top this in offense and top.
You're there all the time in the regular season.
Yeah. The Knicks were a contender hiding in plain sight. But listen, when people see this logo, it does crazy things to people. Like, it's like Tottenham. Tottenham, the manager before, the one we had, the one that helped us win the Europa League, he said like Tottenham, like the word Tottenham just does crazy things to people. When people see this logo, it does crazy things. They just think, no, I can't. Like, they were a contender and playing. Karl-Anthony Towns had been playing great defense for 3 months, and nobody cared. All right, cool. Yeah. We'll see. Ball up top.
Yeah, no one cared. I was high on Cat. I will say my thing with Cat that still was true sometimes in the playoffs. Like, Cat's physicality is severely underrated because of how people speak on his personality or like his voice. I'm like, listen, all that shit is cool. I saw physically the way he was standing Wemby up. I saw him go at, like, I saw these things. However, there were still moments where Cat, like, okay, that foul call was kind of ticky-tack. But then he would follow it up with, okay, no, that's a bad call. And now you got two, and now you got to sit down, right? Like, those things did still happen. But specifically, and I remember this because watching the finals was such a surreal experience because, again, I live stream all of the games. In game 1 and 2, Cat legitimately felt like the finals MVP for me in terms of like how he was like back and forth controlling pace, but like the passing was amazing, the spacing was amazing, the fit, like he was doing everything that you felt like a like peak Cat should be able to do. Like all the positive traits you saw when they beat, I believe, Jokic and them, he shows you in the finals and specifically in the playoffs. So that was a humongous thing. But again, what helps get everything going is when you have a semblance of a team that understands positioning offensively, understands relocation, understands driving, like the Knicks played like a disciplined team with ball movement. And I will say this, for the first 2 games, I was like really irritated by watching Jalen Brunson at times because it's like, God damn, he's taking so many shots every now and then. But the one thing you cannot take away from Jalen Brunson is when it came down to that fourth quarter, those same shots that he took were so instrumental in bending the defense to get good shots and good possessions. And I will say, you might disagree with this, but I will forever die on this hill. The Spurs also played a lot of idiotic basketball because I'm sorry, but like the idea that we're going to help off of OG Anunoby to go contest Josh Hart at the wing, and Josh is going to pass the ball down to OG in the corner, and that's a 3. Or like trying to rotate from cross corner so Wemby can not guard a shooter in the corner so he can be in the paint. Like there were things they were doing that you guys took advantage of. And guess what? Good teams are meant to take advantage of these things. That's the point of watching film. That's the point of understanding styles make fights, right? So I want to give the Knicks a lot of credit in that regard. But again, I really feel like people don't update their resumes. I'll give you a prime example of this, Sean. People watch Kristaps Porzingis on the New York Knicks, and then 4 years pass, and they still think he's that same player. And it's like, he's not. He's not like things change so fast in the NBA. Karl-Anthony Towns was a bad defender. I still think he can be neutral, but this season he was legitimately a better defender. The issue I had with like comfortably saying I have the Knicks as my team to win the finals because I got fooled by the regular season in the sense of there was an up and down flow where like, okay, the best teams in the league when they play the Knicks, it's not like great. Specifically, the role of Cat offensively. There were a lot of games where I'm watching this like, wait a minute. Cat had 4 shots. Josh Hart had 12 shots. Even a Mikal Bridges, who we got to get to, because that's another pillar of this team that was like heavily scrutinized and talked about. Because remember, you guys basically traded 5 first-round picks. You guys did a deal with the devil to get Mikal. And I'll say this, without Mikal Bridges, you also don't win the chip. Like all of these pieces were instrumental.
Of course. So, all right, you touched on a lot there. So let me. I started taking notes.
Okay,
no, this is good. This is good. I like it. All right, so Atlanta. I picked Knicks in 5. And after that belt to ass in Game 6, I said, "This is why I picked Knicks in 5."
Right.
After Game 4, Game 5, Game 6, I was like, "This is why I picked Knicks in 5."
Yeah.
That was Game 1 was a foreshadowing of Game 2 because they were actually up 15, I believe, in Game 1, and Atlanta cut the lead, and then Jalen went to ISO Jalen, but he hit the shots.
Right.
Game 2, same thing. This time he did hit the shots. And there's a term that I always use when Jalen gets in that mode. It's use your teammates. Like use your teammates. But then again, Jalen's a guy who wants to win, and Jalen seems like a guy just like when things are going wrong, he's just like, all right, I'll do it my sense that you assholes ain't gonna do it.
Right.
Which explains, because if you know who Jalen Brunson's favorite player of all time is, it makes all the sense in the world. I'll give you a hint. He wears his sneakers. So, listen, man, I love the Mamba. But, so, after Game 3, it has to be like, all right, we can't, like, it doesn't matter how many shots Karl-Anthony Towns takes as long as he touches the ball. And it is such an underrated facet of, like, the Knicks can win a game and Karl-Anthony Towns could take 4 shots and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like there's so many NBA players that would not ever want that to be the case. I always remember that post-game interview on Inside the NBA with Karl-Anthony Towns and Shaq, the 90s guy, like, Karl-Anthony Towns, you got to take more shots. You're not taking enough shots. And Carl's like, nah, I don't really have to. And he's like, no, yes, you do. You're a big man. You got to dominate. And he's like, I hear you. He's like, I hear you, old head. I hear you. But he's like, I don't have to. We beat them in a game. Like, the Hawks lost a game by 29 points where Karl-Anthony Towns took 7 shots.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Right? As for San Antonio, you're 100% right. If you come back from 29 points down to win a basketball game, at any level, you had some help. And
yes.
the help was a term my man Jeff J coined to describe the Celtics, but also applied to the Spurs. Basketball hubris. These young boys, gifted. You've been watching basketball your entire life. How many times can you see a team lose a basketball game and then say they're the better team? And then play the same team again and lose again and say they're the better team. And play the game again and then they win. All right, you won by 6. And then you play again and you lose a game. And not just lose a game, you have the greatest meltdown in the history of the league. And you still say you're the better team. And then you lose again, and you say you're the better team. But do you say you're the better team while that team is raising the trophy on your home court? Like, listen, I think Victor Wembanyama is a sucker.
Holy
There's a
shit.
word I want to use. Yo, he's a sucker. I tweeted, he's a sucker. But I understand, because if I were 22 years old, I had people blowing smoke up my ass all the time, I'd probably be the same way. But Mitch Johnson, next year, Mitch, please tell your young boys that saying you're the better team after you lose constantly is not a good look. Because at some point, you have to look in the mirror and say, like, yo, we got to do things differently. We have to do things differently. And the Knicks knew, like, all right, they can come out of energy and explosiveness and yada, but we will walk them down every single time.
And that quite literally is what happened.
Nothing about it. We're going to walk you down. What are you going to do? Mike Lombardi, who everyone makes fun of, says this all the time. He says the playoffs in any sport is playing left-handed. Or if you're left-handed, playing right-handed. It's like being on the basketball court, playing pickup, and they realize, oh, you only go right? Now you're not going right no more. What are you going to do? And the San Antonio Spurs could play one way, but when it came time to play a different way, they couldn't do it, which is why they thought in Game 3 they can keep chucking those threes. I'm like, yo, dog.
Oh, man, bro.
You're not Dylan Harper. You're not that guy. De'Aaron Fox, you're not that guy. Devin Vassell, you're not that guy. Like they were shooting like 62% from from 3 in that first half of Game 4, and Julian Champagny hit one of them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yes, bro.
but you thought this was sustainable. You know why? Because you're young and dumb. Because you have basketball hubris. That's the same basketball hubris that got the Celtics out the paint. Because if you're a Celtics fan, you have to be pissed watching the Knicks put Joel Embiid in pick and roll until he threw up. Meanwhile, your team is just launching 3 after 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. Basketball hubris.
I cannot wait until I do my playoff rewatches game by game because I remember visually being upset to where I almost broke something in my room watching these games. Because specifically, like, and I want to be very, very clear. What I'm going to say is not taken away from the Knicks at all. Again, when you come back from down 29, that's not just the other team completely selling. You have to have something in you to do that and not give up on the game and be locked in and stay all of your rotations, guys who are coming in, whatnot, like that very much is something you have to dig yourself out of. And the Knicks who are down multiple times and come back, that's not luck. That's called being the right team to execute at the right time. That's what the Knicks did the entire postseason run. They deserve credit for that. But to watch the Spurs go out there and say, we have this lead. When Wemby's in the paint, he's feasting at times. Let's just keep shooting threes. De'Aaron Fox, keep shooting threes. De'Aaron Fox, in fact, go to the basket. Oh, and wait. Listen, please tell your Knicks film school associates I said this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What got me the most about the series, and I don't have the stat in front of me, but I promise you, this is a Kenny Atkinson hyper nerd thing I'm about to say. Every fast break they decided to try to score the basketball on OG Anunoby by himself, things never ended up well. So imagine the look on my face when I see in the fourth quarter De'Aaron Fox gets the steal and tries to go to the basket on OG. I'm already saying, no, don't. Because the sample size I'm seeing is the Spurs are not scoring on that. And like you said, I get terrified now when I see teams shoot 64%. You want to know why? Because I've seen multiple teams do this and then shoot 20% from 3 in the second half. I'll give you a prime example. When I saw the Utah Jazz play the Clippers and then completely lose all steam in the second half and choke, right? When I saw the Spurs in their game do the same thing, where I think they only shot like 8 for 38 or some crazy stat like that from the field for the entire second half. These things sometimes are not repeatable. So instead of doing the right things that got you into that spot, you're settling. Meanwhile, the other team now, especially if they're at home, they feast off the energy of the Garden and they're taking the advantages that are there. You guys just did that at a much higher level, and there is something to the mental side of basketball. Basketball is not just played on a TI-84 calculator, Kenny Atkinson. There is a sense of every time we lose, we just say we're better.
Yes.
Like, we're never giving the Knicks any credit. And the way I knew the Knicks were like a different level of locked in my opinion, Sean, was like they always gave the Spurs credit. I'm like, oh shit, because they always gave them credit. Always.
That's wisdom and experience. And we're not going to go in there and say like, can you imagine if the Knicks up 3-1 said, yeah, we're the better team? People would excoriate them, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To your point, this is a look. So to everyone watching, if you're watching YouTube after this, go on YouTube and search OG Anunoby mind game. There's a YouTube short where it talks about how OG Anunoby would guard Dylan Harper on fast breaks and how he would let him score a few times, let him get comfortable, but then he would lay off, but then he would be able to defend and get blocks. And he even says there's a part of the video where OG is talking to Cat, and he's like, "See, now I'm in his head." Like that's what the people talk about. Like someone in the chat's talking about the Spurs are more talented than Knicks, and it was like, one, I don't believe so. I don't believe so because Who would you say? All right, let's take Victor. He's an alien, right?
Okay.
Who would you say who's their second best player? In fact, here's all I'll do. Here's what I'll say. Don't even answer that. Take Wemby out.
Okay.
Take the Sixers starting. Take the Sixers. Take the Spurs starting five.
Okay.
Do any of them start for the Knicks?
De'Aaron Fox wouldn't because you have Jalen Brunson.
Nope. Julian Champagnie starting for the Knicks? No.
No, he's not.
Is Devin Vassell starting for the Knicks?
No, he's not. He's probably off the bench, honestly.
Yeah. I'm not. Is Stephon Castle starting for the Knicks? Maybe he starts over Josh Hart. Maybe.
Possible over Josh Hart. I can see that maybe. Okay.
But listen, there's a saying: hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I've watched the sport for 34 years. I've seen some of those talented teams not win because they weren't good enough. Because they were not good enough. You have to be talented and good. Like Kobe was talented and he was good and he worked hard.
Exactly.
Like Michael Jordan was talented and he worked hard. SGA, for all the crap that he gets, which he deserves because he brings it on himself, he's talented and he works hard. Like LeBron James is talented and he works hard. You just can't talent, like you can't just talent your way to the title. But then again, these dudes thought they thought that when they beat Oklahoma City, they won a championship. Because again, people see this logo and does crazy things. It does crazy things to people.
I mean to do a Sean counter every time he flashes the New York Knicks logo for those of you who are listening on the audio platform. Now, okay, here's my take on it, right? Because I agree with you, the Spurs are young. What irritated me a little bit about the sentiment of people saying that, even though in hindsight, I can definitely argue that is closer to true. To me, it's like it took a lot for them to beat OKC. And that's a series that they arguably should have lost. So I can understand the emotions in that moment. Like I don't have a problem with them reacting the way that they did. I have a problem with you moving on to the next series, doing stupid shit. And then more importantly, I'm sorry, but the head coach, I don't care what anyone says, Mitch Johnson had a fireable series as a coach in that series. Like he got thoroughly outcoached where he's playing people in the wrong spots. The shot diet isn't great. There was a late rotation. I forget in what game. It might have been I think it was game 4 actually, where like he just randomly put in he put Wemby on the bench and he put Luke Cornet in the game for like all of like a minute. Got torched, took him out, put it back in and I'm like, you're playing with the lead now. Like he didn't seem confident in what he wanted to do. But I say all this to say that I would rather people just be honest and say the Spurs got outplayed than they left it all on the court. No, they were trying to beat the Knicks. They just weren't better in terms of their decision making. And they lost. They got outplayed.
If I play you and I beat you 4 times out of 7, you are not better than me.
Yes.
And that's if I beat you 4 out of 7. If I beat you 4 out of 5, if we play 5 times and I win 4, you're not better than me. Go that way. And I know that game you're talking about is game 4. And
it is game 4. Okay, yeah.
You want to talk about Mitch Johnson? How does Wemby play 11 minutes in the third quarter? In a quarter, they were up by 29, and the lead was never below 15.
Yes.
And he played, I think he played 10 minutes. I think there was a moment where there was no Cornet and Wemby on the floor, but he played at least 10 minutes of a 12-minute quarter in a quarter that you led by 29.
29 points in the quarter, yep. Mm-hmm.
So that tells me two things. One, if you can't maintain a 29-point lead without that guy in the court, then the rest of these guys can't be as good as you think they are, or you're telling me that they are.
Yeah. No.
Or it makes Wemby Wemby is that much Superman, but no one is that good. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't tell me these dudes are talented, but they had to play Wemby 11 minutes in a quarter where the lowest lead was 15 points.
Yes. No, listen, I'm 100% with you. Like, I will tell you a playoff series by comparison for Sean and also the listeners that you can literally like hold to the microscope and say, why is this not the 2026 NBA Finals? Go back, I forget what year. This might have been 23. No, I think this was maybe 21 or 22, actually. I forget what year. But specifically, Sean will know exactly what I mean when I say it. When the Minnesota Timberwolves, ironically with Karl-Anthony Towns, took on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh,
that was one of the most CTE filled series I have ever seen in my life. And I swear to God, Sean, you know where I'm going with this. Where the Wolves not beating the shit out of this team the entire, like almost every game. And they literally blew the lead in the final 2 minutes of almost every game in that series. Legitimately.
Bro, we would be on spaces during the game. And I'll be like, at the end of the third quarter, I'm like, yo, I'm going to go bet Memphis money line because these dudes are going to blow it.
Yes.
And they would blow it. Yes.
And they blew it.
Right.
Yes.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
That was literally like, I haven't heard enough people bring that up, but to me, that is the best playoff series in recent history you can point to say that was the finals. Literally that series to me. Literally. Like word for it. And the crazy part is they would be up 29, 30 points as well. I remember that.
They were up comfortably. And I'm like, they're going to like, you're right. It was CTU.
It was literally CTE hoops, bro. I'm not making it up. And if you thought Cats fouls are bad, now shoot. Back in that series, it was, oh God.
We in Minnesota now. Oh man.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
Okay. Can we talk about the all right. Whenever I'm ready to talk about these Sixers. But I'll say this really quick about Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
I was at the NBA Cup quarterfinal in 2024 against the Hawks. Me, Cedric, and Jeff were there. The things I said about Mikal Bridges after that game, I'm glad that they will never be aired. Oh my goodness.
I know it was bad.
It was
it was bad.
And it was CTU hoops because we were winning, we were comfortably up, and then the Hawks turned up the intensity and and Tibbs just kept doing the same thing. And you know what Tibbs will do? Tibbs will call a timeout and then just send the same five back out there to do the same thing. But listen, at the parade, I wore my "Fuck Them Picks" t-shirt because we never have to hear about those picks again. Winning a championship means never having to say you're sorry. If you try to tell me it was a bad trade, I'm going to point to this. Yeah, we won the championship. So I don't know what, like, the trophy isn't bigger if you trade less picks. The trophy's the same size.
Right.
So there we go. So, all right, let's talk about these clowns in Philly.
All right. So listen, this is the official part of the podcast where we now segue to officially the next season, upcoming projections with the league, and to the point of the title and the thumbnail. Can the Knicks repeat all this and all that? So we'll do that. But first off, make sure to like the video, download this on all audio platforms. Again, tap into Knicks Film School. They are in the title. Shout out to Sean and all that. His links and all that will be in the description box below. Had to get that quick segue off for my YouTube watchers and the audio platform listeners. Let's get to it though, right? So, okay, a lot has happened in the NBA. A lot has happened. We saw Kawhi Leonard go to the Raptors, and then maybe not because he's involved in the NBA RICO charge. You have, I believe, Tyrese Halliburton. He's back. But obviously, the biggest thing, LeBron James and Jaylen Brown signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, just so the listeners know, I have Sean's phone number. Like, we've known each other for a good grip. So I called him right before going to the barbershop. And through muffled audio, he was shitting all over the Sixers. Like, all over. And
let's be easy. Let's be easy. Let's
be easy. Be easy.
All right, you know what? Fuck. You're right. Fuck him.
Yeah. What we talking about? So listen, just so people know, Ironically, the first podcast of this offseason I did with Derek talking about his Sixers. Derek was actually here earlier in the chat. I texted Sean. No, yeah. So I texted Derek, Sean, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said Sean can talk crazy about his team since day one, but he can leave his Sixers takes at the door. Well, we're at the door, Sean. Let's talk about it. Do you think they are the biggest challenge to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference this season?
That I will say there's a tie. But here's where I am. And I said this to you on that phone call. If you ask me to rank the teams in the East, I believe it's the Knicks, and then there's a space, and then there's teams 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. I would say the two biggest threats in the Eastern Conference are going to be Philadelphia and Indiana, but only because, and you spoke about this earlier, Gifted, people don't update their takes. So, like, listen, the Pacers fans have spent all summer crying about how, well, you wouldn't have won if you played us. It's like, to quote Kanye West, I guess we'll never know. Whatever, who cares? But the idea that Tyrese Halliburton is just gonna like come back in and the Pacers gonna pick up where they left off 2 years ago, like I think that's not really that could be far-fetched.
Okay.
As for the Sixers, I said this on the internet. I said this to you. I'll say this now. I look at that picture of the Sixers starting lineup, and I ask, who in this lineup is playing defense? You have VJ Edgecombe is a very good defender.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese Maxey. If you want to say he's on Jalen Brunson's level of defense, that's fine, because I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that Jalen Brunson's a good defender.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown, yes, very good defender. Yes, he is. Although off ball, he be lunches sometimes, but whatever. Like, ironically, watching Kelly Oubre just beat him on backdoor cuts in that Philly series was hilarious, but whatever. But I'm not going to say Jaylen Brown's not a good defender. He going to guard everybody? Do not talk to me about Joel Embiid. Is Joel Embiid a good defender? When healthy, yes. When is Joel Embiid healthy? I said this in March when Jonathan Macri tried to ask me about, well, if Joel Embiid could stay healthy for 7 games, and I said, what have you seen in the last 3 years that tells you that Joel Embiid is going to be healthy for 7 games? What have you seen? Like, this is Lucy with the football. Why would you keep doing this to yourself? He didn't play. I don't know how many games he played this year. 42? And he played game 4, game 5, game 6, game 7 against the Celtics. He played game 1 against the Knicks, and then he missed game 2. It's like you cannot count on this man anymore. And now last but not least, the guy that was born on December 30th, 1984, who we have watched in LA. Yes, here and there, he can ratchet it up here and there. But Father Time is undefeated. He's not getting any younger. So, we fried this fucking team last year in the playoffs. We fried them, right? And now who's to believe that adding the 41-year-old guy means that they were fucked? Like, make that make sense. And yes, they swapped out Jaylen Brown for Paul George. Jaylen Brown is a better defender than Paul George at this stage. No, I'm not going to take that away from you. But Jaylen Brown can't guard Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. And just like Atlanta found out, and just like Cleveland kind of found out, and just how San Antonio found out, they have no one to guard Karl-Anthony Towns, which Philly found out last year. They have no one to guard him. Like, styles make fights. It's a matchups. Like, people just keep looking at offense, and I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not even talking about offense because, like, Listen, they're gonna have to call VJ Edgecomb's nickname's gonna be Baby because his ass is gonna be in the corner all year. All year. Shit, Jaylen Brown's gonna be in the corner. I had to watch Kevin Love be in the corner. I had to watch Chris Bosh be in the corner. Tyrese Maxey has the ball in his hands. LeBron James is LeBron James. Like, and we tend to underestimate how, like, not having the ball but being told to do all this stuff on defense. Like, I shouldn't. Listen. If the Knicks lose to a Sixers in the playoff series, via con Dios, I'll be the first one to congratulate them. I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. But this game is played on both sides of the court, and I don't see how that team is going to stop my team that fried everybody. Yo, my team hunted Victor Wembanyama and pick and roll down the stretch. Hunted him.
Yeah. It happened. It happened.
And I was supposed to be afraid of Joel Embiid, who I saw play drop coverage the entire playoffs against the Knicks and let Jalen Brunson walk into open threes. Come on, man. Come on. But again, you see the logo and they think, oh, it's over for you. Like, all right, cool. But whatever. It'll be fun. I think the Sixers are going to win a lot of regular season games, but I don't think they can win 3 playoff rounds. I don't know if they can win 2 playoff rounds.
So I'm gonna be honest. What I have to do, and I'm taking this as like a blood oath mission for me this season. I have to get you and Derek in Discord during one of the regular season games, and especially if y'all match up in the playoffs to see that dynamic. Because I'm gonna tell you something. All right, I'm in between. Okay, I think this is the best talent the Sixers have had as a franchise in terms of their 5 all the way through. I think the 5 is very clunky. I think there's some things they're going to have to figure out. There's going to have to be some buy-in. There's going to have to be a sense of overall sacrifice. However, what has plagued Joel Embiid in terms of his health, for the most part, have been his knees. Ironically, his knees are feeling better now. Unfortunately, he caught appendicitis, so that impacted him. And to be honest, he should not have been able to come back for the playoffs. But unlike the label that people try to put on him by calling him soft or whatever, no, he played through the injuries. And was the reason why they beat Boston. I mean, like, listen, I remember the narrative, right? He came back. It was belt-to-ass Boston. They won. They go down 3-1. Everyone's laughing. And then in those other games, they walked him down. Joel Embiid is dominating Boston while falling almost every other play. It was some wild stuff. And then they go up against the Knicks. I remember the first game. It was hyper competitive through 3 quarters or whatever it is. Paul George is making every 3 on earth you could think of. And the Knicks still walked him down. And Cat was a big factor in it because literally Joel Embiid couldn't move and he was getting exposed. Like, 100% agree with all that. But here's what I'm saying with this. When it came down to it, Joel Embiid, for the most part, especially for Philadelphia, has had to play through injuries or come back and be the offensive centerpiece most nights. On this team, the thing that bodes well for them in the regular season is the fact that you have so many different styles you can play where Embiid doesn't have to front that as much as he had to, I think, in the past. Basketball-wise, because we're here to talk basketball, not bullshit, not positive, whatever. The staggers are what make Philadelphia very interesting. So now when you sit Joel Embiid, when you sit LeBron, whatever, you have multiple different guys you can run your offense through. A big part of why Jaylen Brown is there is to be durable and play. Tyrese Maxey plays. VJ Edgecomb, Young, plays. LeBron and Embiid are the older cores that might be questionable here or there how that works, but specifically with the lineups, you could run a LeBron, Tyrese Maxey 2-man game. Okay, can run the show, or a Jaylen Brown, and then you could do something with I would also say Joel Embiid. Like throughout the full 48 of a game, Philly's way more scary because I said this going into the series. It was a great story seeing them beat Boston. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But when I
Yes, it
looked
was.
ahead in the series, it's like, gang, the depth of the Sixers, like they're asking Kelly Oubre to be a smart basketball player and give them good depth off of their bench with the hottest team in the Eastern Conference right now. I don't know if they're going to win this series. Also, I don't know how healthy Joel Embiid is after literally falling again and then having to play this team 48 hours later, because that's how the playoffs work. I didn't see it. You swept them. Congratulations. But I say all this to say, while the bench might not move you that much because they got, I believe, Anthony Simons. They also upgraded with, I believe, Dean Wade. And some other players, right? The staggering is what's going to enhance their bench lineups to make them a more viable team. And to me, at least, that should stop them from getting built to ass blown out by the Knicks like they were in this last playoff series, which makes it a more competitive series, which then comes down to what Joel Embiid are we going to see, which I can't even tell you what that'll be. But specifically down the stretch, are they going to be adults? And the one thing I will say is adding LeBron James and adding a talent of Jaylen Brown and getting Tyrese Maxey easier shots off the ball should make you a more mature team down the stretch of basketball games. But what I will not say is they're going to win the championship. What I will not say is they're a lock to go to a conference finals. What I will not say is that they're better than the Knicks, because as talented as this team is on paper don't mean shit in 2026. We done seen Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden didn't work out. I want to see it on paper before I shit on it or elevate it. That's my position. I got to see it. I don't know.
Listen, it would not surprise me one bit if the Sixers finished with a better record in the regular season than the Knicks. Would not surprise me one bit. I believe that, to your point, staggering, you can, with almost any combination of 3 of those 5 guys, you can win a lot of regular season games. So when you're playing Sacramento, who's on a West Coast road trip, and it's a back-to-back, the third game of 4 nights, wipe the floor with them. And also, we know that this Knicks team does not give a shit about trying to win 60 games. They do not care.
They do not. I got fooled by that last year.
Gifted, the one thing that I've learned in my time as a Knicks content creator, and really since like 2021 when we started, shout out to Chris from Hoop Spaces, in that era. When I evaluate teams, I don't evaluate them over 82. I evaluate them over 16.
Right.
And I don't care what you do over 82. Like, I'm not gonna say that regular season doesn't matter, because regular season you build habits, there's data collection, there's things that you can take from the regular season that can apply. But when it comes to winning 16, can you win 16? Can you get Joel Embiid to be healthy for 16 games in April, May, and June? Can you, when the games are every other day, can you play? When you're 42 years old. Mm-hmm. And listen, you're right. LeBron's going to be the adult in the room. I actually think LeBron's going to have the easiest time fitting into this offense. Jaylen Brown, Mr. I want my own team. Well, now guess what? You're at best a third option. At best. Be careful what you wish for, motherfucker. Yeah, I obviously we don't know how things are going to play out. There are these other teams in the East, but like, penciling this team in as a championship contender, I think is like if you ask me if to pick a Knicks Sixers playoff series, I'd say Knicks in 5 right now. I'm not even bullshitting.
Yeah,
I'd say that. Now, in terms of repeating, do I think the Knicks could repeat? Sure. Am I holding my breath? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's hard.
It's hard to win twice, man. Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not even, and this is before the quote unquote parity era. Like, if you exclude the team that had Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, ain't no one repeats since Kobe and Powell and Andrew Bynum. And before that, it was Shaq and Kobe. And before that, it was Jordan and MJ. I mean, Jordan and Pippen. And before that, it was Hakeem Olajuwon who got Clyde Drexler in the second or if they don't win it, they don't win again, right? It's hard to win one, much less win the same one next year. So I'm not gonna say they're gonna win back to back. Do I think they could? Sure. But if they don't, like, put it like this. There are people who cannot wait to laugh at the Knicks for not winning back-to-back championships.
And that literally means nothing. Yeah,
think about how silly that is. Yeah. It went from ha you suck to ha
you can't win 2 in a row.
You can't win 2 in a row.
Right. Yeah, no. That is so silly to me.
Shout out to the chat.
Yeah.
I skipped one team, but they had LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah. You know, hey. So, yeah, no. I could not agree with you more. Like, I'm not laughing at the Knicks if they don't win back to back because we are on a 8-team streak now of not just like teams not going back to back, but completely different winners entirely. Like, for all we know, the Spurs could grow up after losing in embarrassing fashion and then win this year, right? Like there could be a completely different winner. So because of that reason alone, and also health, which is the biggest thing, like you could get a crazy bullshit season of, wait a minute, Embiid's actually really healthy. Oh shit. And then like, I don't know. Am I betting on that? Probably not.
You do know. Gifted, you do know.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know.
I don't know.
When it comes to Embiid's health, you do know. What have you seen? Bro, this is like 4th straight offseason where it's like, oh, Embiid, I feel great. Everyone feels great in September.
Okay.
Everyone feels great in September, in July, in June, in July. Everyone feels great in the summertime.
That's a fact.
Great in September.
That's a fact.
And then it's January. It's like, oh,
So listen, I have to say this, and you're not gonna like me saying this, but it is true. It will make you laugh, and it is very much disingenuous. But I do have to say this, man. All I know is when I saw Golden State win in 2022, there was a player by the name of Otto Porter Jr. who was hurt every season of his career. He came to the Warriors for one season, played every playoff game, was good, was valid, and right after that, out the league. Like you can see some fluke shit happen. All I'm telling you is what has happened to Joel Embiid specifically, and I can even point to this last year, is that they would keep him out to like have him be healthy going into the playoffs, and then they need to bring him back because they're not good enough. So then he plays out there again, and then he gets hurt, and now it's like, is he going to be back for the playoffs? I don't know. What I'm saying is this is the best shot or unit to manage Embiid's health with, and I truly do believe that, like, with the stagger potential of that, you can really find stuff. Now, the question is, can they win back to back where in the playoffs he's not getting hurt? I really don't know about that. That is very, like, that is a very slim margin, but I'm gonna say this. I just want to see it because I've seen a lot of things that have surprised me in this league. I've seen a lot of teams that I thought would be better that were not. The entire season next year could be a different team. Again, the Pacers, fantastic team. I agree with you, right? Like there are people that are just expecting the Pacers to just go back to belt-to-assing teams and like that might not ever happen again. But at the same time, most of their personnel is roughly the same. Zubac could be a very big add for them, and they know how to play good basketball. They're a proven playoff team. Now, will that sustain into this? You know, I don't know. But that's why you watch the season at least to see where things currently are and where things currently stand. The problem is, to your point, there are some teams that are 16-game teams that will show you a fugazi profile during the regular season, and you have to like read and sift through the bullshit to know, like, no, that team's actually good. So I'll give you that.
Detroit. Excuse me.
I was gonna say the Knicks because I feel like y'all are like up and down, up and down. It's like, now we're locked in, and then you won the whole chip.
Yeah. So no, I mean, listen, we'll see. Well, that to quote Chris Berman, that's why they play the games. So let's see what happens.
That's fair. That's fair. So I'm not mad at that. But if you have to choose, who's the best team again for you to play in the finals this upcoming season? If you were to make it that far.
When we say the best team, like the team I think that'll make the finals?
Yeah.
I think it might be Oklahoma City. And I say that because I don't know if San Antonio beats Oklahoma City if Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell are healthy.
That's fair to say.
I'm not saying that they would or wouldn't. I'm saying I don't know.
Right.
Because it, like, you watched that game 7. I watched the game 7. It was like SGA did everything he could do. Now,
games before that though.
Yeah. The 7-footer who Oklahoma City Thunder drafted number 2 a few years ago has some things he needs to figure out, because if he's gonna look, you want to talk about like Wemby, this should be saved. I'm in your head for one person only, and it's not Mitchell Robinson. But it would not surprise me. Now listen, they don't have Lou Dort anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one less rugby player they have on their team.
That's actually good for them.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, because Lou Dort wasn't even playing like down the stretch, in like it was crazy. But you know what's funny? Here's the thing about San Antonio. Everyone's just penciling them in as they're the team that's gonna run shit for the next 10 years. I'm like,
I can't pencil nothing in.
All right, listen. I've seen teams. Oh, this team. Listen, motherfuckers told me Oklahoma City of Durant, Harden, and Westbrook was gonna run the league after they lost that finals, and they never made it back. Like, don't pencil anything in. Like, don't. Like, listen, if Wemby cannot play more than 28 minutes a game in a playoff game without getting gassed, none of this shit matters. None of this. So he has to figure that out. The Spurs have to figure that out. They have to figure out his conditioning. But it's hard because he's 7'6". Like, if is a slender man. But I would say it might be Oklahoma City again.
I think OKC is a very valid. Yeah, I think OKC is a very valid pick. I think the Spurs are the best matchup for OKC in the Western Conference. I will say the thing I want to state about the Spurs is the fact that I don't, and I'm in a very, very small minority in saying this, I don't think De'Aaron Fox is as bad as he was last year. I think he will probably be a better form of himself. To be fair, he was slightly injured, but at the same time, that don't got shit to do with your decision making. That was also terrible. I can't defend that. No, that was bad. I do think there's a good chance we get another Dylan Harper leap type of season, and the continued growth and development of Stephon running back Castle is going to be important to watch for sure. I think Tobias Harris just having some size on the floor that's not Keldon Johnson, who anytime he caught the ball in the finals, he put his head down to go to the basket and just got blitzed and turned the ball over. Like, not having that shit, good. That by default makes you a better team. But again, OKC, to your point, like, they continue to have depth. J-Dub was hurt multiple times in the playoffs in the entire season, honestly. So I really call his entire season a wash, you ask me. And obviously, AJ Mitchell was doing some ungodly things to, I think, the Lakers. But again, to your point, like, this does come down to the Chet Holmgren stuff, because Chet was spectacular before the Spurs. He was. But then when you watch him versus Spurs, he just folded to the back and was quiet. And Shea, to all of his credit, needs to get better at playing off the ball, because in that series, he struggled scoring until like the last game where like he was really crazy. And then like, I think game 2, right? Like, these are things that I made sure to, in my head, monitor. But at the same time, having Jalen Williams healthy could be a very big difference. So going with a team that actually won the title, I don't really hate that. I don't think that's I think bad logic. I think those are still the two teams. I think you could point to, damn, it's crazy when you think of the third team because I think Minnesota lost size, but they traded in for better shooting and better playmaking.
They're the wild card. They're the wild card.
They're a wild card team to me. Yeah. I know people love to say Nuggets, but I kind of feel like the Nuggets window is closed right now for me.
I think so too. I think their window's closed. I think their window might be closed. I mean, with Jokic, you have a shot, but I think their window might be closed. And then after that, I mean, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. How do you feel about the Snow Time Lakers?
Okay, the funny part about the Snow Time Lakers is that they're going to be a better team than a lot of people realize, but the ceiling is so goddamn low. Like, they're not going to be a great playoff team to me. But in the regular season, they're going to be like, oh, wow, they're like a top 4 team. Like, yeah, that makes sense based on their regular season profile. But in terms of, like, their ceiling with those pieces, I don't really trust it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think it's either going to be Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and my wild card is Minnesota. Like, if they can get, to your point, they did sacrifice size. Traded Nas Reed is going to be annoying. And listen, LaMelo, look, like, there's a lot of LaMelo truthers out there, and I'm like, all right, well, you won't put it to you like this. LaMelo won't have the it's the Hornets excuse anymore if things don't go the way
he won't.
They want them to.
Yeah. So I think LaMelo is a winning player. I feel like you have to be blind to not have watched last season because from January to the end of the season, they were the best overall team in the NBA. And specifically, like, he showed impact in terms of, like, winning basketball games. The problem is he also has CTE. Because I think, like, listen, I think the best game that you can watch, Sean, is the playing game. Because legitimately, the playing game versus the Heat was the definition of who LaMelo Ball is, where he's making bullshit, terrible decisions. But at the same time, it's, they needed that three. They needed that drop. Like, he has that it factor both ways. It's a wild card. But for the Wolves, at least, I was a fan of the move because you brought low on a guy that was already losing value because of health, which is one thing. But specifically, you needed a point guard. And more importantly, he's Ant's age, so he perfectly fits their timeline. And I'm sorry, much respect to the idea of Julius Randle, but he was ass. So I'm not opposed to it. Sorry.
LaMelo Ball. I forgot LaMelo Ball went 2 of 16 from 3 against Miami. Like,
yes.
I cannot take, like, people want me to take him seriously, and I'm like, why? And then they got there, and then they got. Well, I'm pulling up, and then 7 of 17 in the game they lost to Orlando. Like, I cannot take LaMelo Ball seriously. I'm sorry, he's gonna have to show me. He's gonna have to show me. Like, you can show me the advanced stats. You can show they played well, but he reverted to the mean. And if Bam doesn't get hurt, maybe they lose. But fifths or fifths.
Listen, I'm not pushing back to any of that. All I'm saying is when someone says a player is not a winning player, I look at that as, are you a detriment to your team winning basketball games? And for most of his career in Charlotte, he's been on a terrible team. This was the first year where, like, they had talent that came together. They looked like a like actual basketball team. They were amongst the best in the league. For sure, they had, I think, the number one offense from January on. I think they were, like, also a top 10 defense. The issue, though, is he doesn't have many seasons of playing like this. And the bigger reason why they trade him is health. That's my question mark, is the health and like how. But in terms of, like, generating better shot quality for their best player, Anthony Edwards, he can do that. And ultimately, people have to remember that's why they traded for him. It was to take pressure off of Anthony Edwards. So even if LaMelo is shooting the ball piss poor, buku bad, terribly, the spacing and the passing ability to take that away from Ant, so Ant can be his best self as a scoring guard, to be a true shooting guard now, that was why they made the trade. So I don't hate it for that, but at the same time, what You need size. The Knicks have size. OKC has size. The Spurs have size. Like, if you do not have a sizable 4 and 5, it can't just be one. You can't really
The
win.
Spurs got the Spurs got a 7'6" alien. Then they got a bunch of dudes who are like 6'7" and below, which helped which a lot of people underestimated that. Like, they got a bunch of swingmen and an alien. Like Champagne's like 6'9", but then everyone else is like.
I'm saying right now though.
Like 6'5". Everyone's like 6. Well, then I got Tobias Harris. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tobias Harris in the playoffs. All right, well.
Okay. Hey, listen. Listen. Put respect on Tobias because last year, second option for Detroit. It's funny because you've heard me shit all over Tobias Harris, so you know this. But what I saw him do for Detroit, I'm like, wow, that actually moved me because he was the second option offensively. It was bad.
He was an adult in the room, in which San Antonio needs.
Badly.
So, yes.
Yeah. But listen, I'm excited to watch more Knicks basketball. I think I cannot imagine a world where, like, if the Knicks are the first team in this modern stretch of basketball in this parity time to go back to back, like, if people hated Knicks fans before this and they go back to back, oh my goodness, Sean.
Brother,
I must say,
if they go back to back, they're going to have to. So at the parade, the biggest issue that a lot of us had with the parade was we all knew the Canyon of Heroes was not going to be enough to hold people. Like, they said there were 2 million people there, and they turned away 1.5. I was there at the parade. There is a Broadway was where the parade is. The street west of Broadway is Church Street. And Church Street, if you didn't know any better, you would swear the parade was on Church Street because of the amount of people that was on Church Street.
Right.
They will have to make the parade the marathon route. But look, like you said, I'm glad you're going to watch Knicks basketball. I look forward to watching Knicks games with you. I look forward to watching the league because as much as I love the Knicks, I love basketball more. I love basketball more.
It's going to be a fun season too.
I love basketball.
Right.
And basketball is fun. And basketball matters. And it's going to be listen, now for the first time in my life, I am the hunted. And look, the Knicks won a championship and everyone went crazy. Right?
Yep.
So let's see what happens. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. I can wait. But listen, people, if you made it this far, again, hit the like button on the stream. I will be aggregating some of these clips to paint Sean in a bad way. I can't wait to do that. That'll be fun to do the whole fuck Joel Embiid. I can't wait for that. But make sure to go tap into Knicks Film School. I have the tag in the title below, Sean. I want you to feel free to tell the people about that and where they can find you. Go right ahead, bro.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at SeanVW_. The underscore is very important. I am part of Knicks Film School, where fans come to learn about the Knicks. You can follow us on all socials and on YouTube at Knick Film School. That's Knick Film SKOOL. We have an episode coming up where we ranked. So last summer we ranked the top 25 Knicks of the last 25 years. So now, this year, let's do the top 26 of the last 26 years. 26 years being since they traded Patrick Ewing, the day the music died. We recorded that in person, myself, Jeff, Andrew, and Jonathan Macri. It was a fun episode. That should be coming out sometime next week. And just stay locked in. I also host the KFS Study Hall on Twitter Spaces. I was supposed to do it Sunday, but life be lifing.
It'd be like that.
So I do that from time to time. I'm gonna try and bring back Live from the Mecca with myself and Jeff. That's what got this whole thing started, and that's part of the reason why I know Gifted. So Gifted, I appreciate you. Listen, you have done good things. I see you have 3,600 subscribers. I thought I was subscribed earlier. That's my bad. I subscribed just now.
Oh, good.
This is that number is a testament to the amount of hard work that you've put in to build this community and to build this channel. I'm super proud of you. And one day at the Hoop Spaces Summit in 2027 at Summer League, we can all get together and break bread and talk shit and enjoy each other's company.
Yo, the vibes, bro. I am very excited for this season. I'm a big proponent of like putting things into the ether to happen because there is power with words. I really do live my life from that sense, and I just think the vibe. Like we've known each other for so long, and for your team to have come this far and win, this gonna be your season, as you said, being the 100. So just the impact of that has to feel great, and I can't wait to talk shit and spectate more more things like this with you in the future. So that'll be fun. I'm also here for the Philadelphia battles because that'll be fun as well. The big underreaction, but also overreactions if they do link up in the playoffs. It'll be a movie for sure. So I'm here for that. But if y'all appreciate basketball, again, go tap into everyone's links. Again, all those things will be in the description box below. We are covering all 30 teams, and this has been the Knicks. Shout out to Sean with a W. All of his links will be in the description box below. And y'all have a great night. Peace out, people.